competition. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the cage tonight with a mixed martial arts record of 3 wins and 1 defeat, representing Next Generation Ventre. And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, enters the night with a mixed martial arts record of 4 victories and 1 defeat, representing Brent Crawley. Our referee in charge of the action is Dean Weir.
Referee Dean Weir about to get this catchweight contest underway. Adam Ventre in the black and blue trim, Brent Crawley in the black and green trim, and there was some harsh words exchanged yesterday at the weigh-in, Steve, and there's a lot of beef going into this fight. Ventre unfortunately didn't make the contracted weight, and there was some bad blood between the two camps at the weigh-ins here at FCC yesterday. We thought at one point the fight would be pulled, but the bad blood simmered over, and these two guys just wanted to get it on. Big right hand from
Crawley and Ventre.
Crawley unloading here. Bad intentions from Brent Crawley. Brent Crawley was the one who said, you know what, I just want to fight this guy now. I'm in a bad mood, I'm pissed off, I want to give this guy what for, and he's certainly coming out with bad intentions. But Adam Ventre with a nice head kick there. Adam Ventre is no pushover, finding out of the Next Generation camp in Liverpool. Paul Rimmer in his corner. Fought on Cage Warriors. Nice teep to the face there from Ventre.
That's where I've seen Ventre fight last, was Cage Warriors. But you know, take nothing away from Crawley. He's training out in Nottingham. He's training with guys like, you know, Dean Truman from Cage Warriors, who's also the made for the cage flyweight champion. You got Joe Rice. He'll be training with guys like Jimmy Wallhead, with Andre Winter and guys like that. So both guys have great camps. But
punches in bunches from both guys here. Ventre looking very calm and composed, firing off shots. Crawley answering straight back. Both guys have got their licks in early on, Steve.
Absolutely. And Ventre is a very, you know, you look at him and you wouldn't automatically assume fighter, but once he's in there, he's got great technique, great heart, great chin. This is going to be interesting, and the longer this goes, the more interesting it's going to become.
Sharp punching from both men. And you want to talk about guys who you wouldn't necessarily tab as a fighter. Paddy Pimblett, the teammate of Adam Ventre in tonight's main event. Both incredibly capable, both sharing the mats with absolute beasts.
Absolutely.
But you got the feeling that tonight wouldn't be about a grappling contest after the bad blood at the weigh-ins. It's an old-fashioned throwdown. It's a shootout here at FCC 12.
What a nice
Brad Wharton and Steve Cook-Abbott, privileged to call the action for you this evening. And we get the feeling there's going to be a lot of action in this catchweight contest. Scores have to be settled. Adam Ventre and Brent Crawley looking to do so tonight. Ventre flicking the head kick up there.
You know, as the round progresses, Ventre seems to be a little more relaxed, a little more fluid. And I think with his aggression and with the fact he's moving forward, he's starting to take a stank on this round. I mean, Crawley's coming in big, but Ventre just seems that little bit more fluid at the movement.
Ventre marked up already, but as you say, Steve, the diversity of strikes from the man from Liverpool really coming to bear. A nice, tight, disciplined jab from Brent Crawley, though.
Oh, another one. And both these guys are happy in the pocket. It's gonna.
And when you talk about guys from Rough House, discipline of technique is something they're known for. And the names that camp has churned out over the years, names like Dan Hardy, names like Paul Daly, Dean Amos-Singer,
Nick O'Shifts, it goes on and on. Jimmy Wallhead, it goes on and on. Ross Pearson.
Just names synonymous with the growth and rise and development of UK MMA. It's not the kind of gym you can go to and put in a half effort. We have that with so many gyms here who compete on Full Contact Contender, guys like Full Contact Performance Center. You know those guys are going to come on and put on a show. They're going to turn up fit, they're going to turn up prepared, they're going to turn up ready and Roughhouse is a gym that accepts nothing less than that.
Absolutely. Ventre now, again, he slowed the pace down, taking his back while working right up against the cage. This is, again, Ventre changing gears whenever he feels that it's appropriate to do so, and I just think he's starting to come into this fight a little more.
Nice knees up against the fence. It's an interesting question, who was more angry about the situation yesterday? Who's going to be fighting more on passion and anger, and who's going to be more sensible? If Ventre can kind of rein that in, maybe that's going to be an advantage for him tonight. Certainly doesn't seem like he's in any hurry at the moment.
I slowed the pace of this contest down. Starting to work against the cage, working the body with the knees and the hooks.
Consummate performance there towards the end of that round from Adam Ventre.
An exciting round, man. Both the guys came out swinging. As the round progressed, Ventre took the pace and made it his own.
Now, lovely FCC ring girl signaling round 2. And done a fantastic job this evening, as ever. Of course, FCC 13 coming in June. And if you were here tonight to watch the action live, we don't need to sell you a ticket.
Amen.
You probably bought one on the way out. But if you weren't, if you're catching this on the video replay at some point in the future, I hope the future's good. I hope the future's bright. But at FCC, the future's certainly bright. We've seen some fantastic talent here this evening. And we're going to see much, much more when FCC returns in June.
Seconds are out. We're getting ready for the second of this 3-round competition.
3 5-minute rounds if they need them. It's a catch weight contest. Adam Ventre, Brent Crawley. Round 2 underway. And Steve, if you're Brent Crawley's corner, what's the advice that's given between the rounds?
I think he doesn't want to have his back against the cage. Ventre looked very, very comfortable in the clinch and controlling him. His best bet is to keep it at distance. He's starting to mark Ventre up. If he keeps doing that, keeps landing those shots, that's his key to success, I think. Stay busy and accurate. Keep Ventre backing up.
And we're still getting just little hints of a fist fight. As much as I'm sure they both like to pick up the win by any means, you kind of get the feeling they'd like a big knockout. Oh, big left hook there from Brent Crawley. And again with a straight left hand.
And this is what Ventre does well. When he knows that he's in a bad position or it's not going well, he changes it up. And that's what makes him such a good fighter. Especially for such a young man as well, to be able to overcome the pride aspect, not to just stand there and swing, but be able to change the pace, shut his man down. Very promising start to his professional MMA career. He's very mature. Yeah, he's a very mature fighter for a man of his years. He's very, very mature, very composed all the time.
And the bunch of fighters that he came up with through Next Generation, if you look at those guys, Paddy Pimblett, a bit of a character outside the cage, but a very mature fighter. Dean Garnett, a very mature young man. Yep. Danny Roberts, a very mature young man.
Yep.
When you're at that high level, you're training with high level fighters, high level trainers, high level coaches, that maturity is bred into you. You can be the best fighter in the world, but if you want to just stand in the pocket and sling, you're going to get caught one day.
Amen.
And the difference between good fighters and great fighters is the ability to remove yourself from those emotional situations and fight smart, and that's exactly what Adam Ventre is doing here tonight at FCC 12. Watch him throw a flying kick now just to prove me wrong. Oh, there we go. There's a couple of nice head kicks from Ventre. And another.
So again, as the round progresses, it seems Ventre comes into it a little bit more and starts to control. Nice takedown against the cage. He's going to try and pull that ankle out. Excellent.
Adam Ventre looking to take the back here. Dangerous position for Crawley to be in. those next gen guys, once they've got you pinned like this, it usually doesn't end well. Snaking the arm underneath the throat, and how sweet would it be for Adam Ventre to pull off a submission against Brent Crawley here.
It looks like, oh, he slipped his chin out.
Crawley trying to fight the hands here, 2-on-1. Sound technical base. Defending that submission from Brent Crawley. Ventre though climbing all over his back, all over his man like a bad rash. Just making this position as uncomfortable as possible. It's not just the threat of submission, it's the riding on the back, carrying your opponent's weight, tiring him out, grinding away on him. Both men look to be in pretty tip-top shape though, good condition on both Ventre and Crawley.
And just still working to try and slip that.
Nice elbow from Adam Ventre there. Snaking that rear naked choke in.
If it's not
Ventre going for the big squeeze. This could be it. It's over the jaw. Ventre lets it go. Opts for some ground and pound instead. Gonna try and reapply that choke. He's got the body triangle in. Snaking the left arm under this time. Trying to clamp it on. I can't see if it's under the throat or not. Either way, Ventre switches to the short choke, and there's the submission! Sweet revenge for Adam Ventre. Went for the rear naked, switched to the short choke, and there was the submission. Fantastic work from Adam Ventre there. He saw the rear naked wasn't going on. Crawley defended, he switched to the short choke, he put the squeeze on, and there was the tap.
And nice to see it then. You're talking about a little bit of animosity yesterday at the weigh-ins and a bit of bad blood, but both fighters sort of acknowledging each other, hugging it out, and then that's really what the sport's about, isn't it? When they get in there, they can do the damage. Once it's over.
It's a sport that will destroy egos in a second, so it's so nice to see after that bad blood some sportsmanship from both these young men who I'm sure have a bright future in mixed martial arts.
Fights the sentence.